This is a story about Celeste. Her brother's wedding. It should have been an event full of blessings for the family. But she alone was assigned to the back row, her name omitted from the family introductions. Her mother's cold stare, her sister-in-law's mocking laughter, and her brother's unnatural silence. It was as if she had been rendered non-existent from the very beginning. The reason lay in a certain truth that even she didn't know. Then, just before the ceremony began, a message from her husband Quinlan changed everything. Almost there. Everything is ready. Today, all will be revealed. Why had her family gone to such lengths to exclude her? The real reason was about to be unveiled. 6:30 a.m. Celeste woke up before her alarm clock rang. That day was her brother Thornton's wedding. Looking beside the bed, her husband Quinlan was already gone. A small note lay on his pillow. Early meeting, heading out first. See you at the venue. Love you, Q. Quinlan was always busy. As an IT consultant, he had frequent sudden business trips and meetings. They'd been married 2 years, yet Celeste still knew little about the details of his work. When she asked, he'd deflect with complicated cases, you know. Celeste never pressed further. She believed couples should have their own territories. Washing her face at the sink, Celeste recalled last night's call from her mother, Vivian. Celeste, tomorrow is an important day for us. Please don't draw attention to yourself. Thornton is the star. Wear something modest and don't push forward too much. Her mother's voice carried unusual tension, a trembling quality, as if she feared something. Celeste found it strange. Was it really such a problem for a sister to stand out at a wedding? Even stranger was that her mother hadn't mentioned Quinlan at all. Normally she'd ask, "How's Quinlan?" or "How's his work going?" But for 2 years, her mother had barely asked about Quinlan at all. Returning to the bedroom, she pulled a simple navy dress from the closet, chosen to follow her mother's immodest directive. Holding it up to the mirror, Celeste felt conflicted. Since childhood, she'd lived in her brother's shadow. Thornton excelled academically, athletically, socially, the perfect son. Meanwhile, Celeste was reserved, artistically talented but ordinary in her mother's eyes. Why can't Celeste be more like Thornton? She'd heard countless times as a child. After dressing and applying makeup, it was past 9 a.m. The ceremony started at 11. Driving to the venue, Celeste noticed something. Whenever Quinlan joined family gatherings these past 2 years, conversations would unnaturally halt. Especially Thornton, he'd abruptly change topics or leave when Quinlan approached. She'd thought it was coincidental, but looking back, there was clearly a pattern. The wedding venue dazzled with white roses and lilies at the entrance, chandeliers gleaming in the lobby. Fitting for a bank vice manager's wedding. At reception, Thornton's fiancée Magnolia appeared. Though bridal preparations should be happening elsewhere, she wore perfect makeup and an expensive pink cocktail dress, looking magazine-ready. She'd apparently come specifically to see Celeste. Oh, Celeste. Lovely dress. So modest. Very tasteful. Magnolia's smile was perfect, but her eyes were cold, appraising Celeste from head to toe. Modest clearly carried contempt. Thank you. You look beautiful, Magnolia. Where's Quinlan? Has he arrived? Work's making him a bit late. He should be here soon. I see. What exactly does he do? He's always so vague about it these past 2 years. Everyone's curious. Magnolia's question felt less like curiosity, more like interrogation. Celeste felt a chill. IT consultant. Corporate system building. Is that stable work? What's the income like? Sorry, I shouldn't pry. Magnolia apologized hastily, but her eyes remained sharp, waiting for answers. A venue staff member approached with seating instructions. Celeste expected family seating, but was directed to the very back row, corner seat. Isn't this the family section? I'm sorry, ma'am. Based on the seating arrangements, please take this seat. The staff seemed apologetic, but it felt deliberately planned. Several empty seats remained in the family section. Seated, Celeste surveyed the room. In the front row were her mother Vivian, Magnolia's parents, relatives. Clearly, only Celeste was separated from family. An elderly woman beside her asked, "Are you related to the groom?" "I'm his sister." "Sister? In the back row? How unusual." The woman's words hit like a punch. Indeed, that was abnormal. 30 minutes before the ceremony, Celeste messaged Quinlan, at the venue. ETA. His reply came quickly, "Almost there. We need to talk. Today everything will be revealed." Everything will be revealed. These words filled Celeste with strange foreboding. Quinlan wasn't usually cryptic. At the entrance, several men spoke seriously. They were not typical wedding guests. Though suited, they carried a work-like tension. Then Vivian entered. Their eyes met briefly, but Vivian quickly looked away, acting as if Celeste didn't exist. What was this unease? Her family's abnormal reactions, their wariness toward Quinlan, the exclusionary treatment. Celeste couldn't know that this day would fundamentally change her life. As the ceremony began, beautiful music filled the venue with solemn atmosphere. But for Celeste, this day was a succession of unsettling moments. The MC began family introductions. "Now, let me introduce the groom's family." First, his mother, Vivian. The spotlight illuminated her mother, who rose gracefully and smiled at the congregation. And the relatives. The MC introduced them one by one: uncles, aunts, cousins. But only Celeste's name was skipped. As if she didn't exist. From the back row, Celeste sat bewildered. The MC surely knew of her existence. The family composition should have been provided beforehand. She heard guests whispering. "Who's that woman in the back row? Isn't that Thornton's sister? But why wasn't she introduced? Where's her husband? Who is she? Something's off. This isn't normal." Celeste's cheeks burned. Isolated seating, excluded from introductions, treated like an unwelcome guest. Her chest tightened. During intermission, walking toward the restroom, Celeste accidentally overheard her mother Vivian and Magnolia whispering around a corner. If only that girl weren't here, everything would go smoothly. Her mother's voice differed from her usual elegant tone, mixed with irritation and anxiety. "But if her husband really is, in that profession, we are." Magnolia's voice trembled with tension. "It's fine. She knows nothing. Besides, everything ends today. But if it's discovered, it won't be. We destroyed all evidence, and that girl's always been oblivious." Knows nothing about what? What discovery? Celeste's heart pounded. What were her mother and Magnolia hiding? Celeste hurried into the restroom, breathing deeply before the mirror. Her hands shook. Her own family was secretly discussing her, clearly something unfavorable. Exiting the restroom, she noticed several men near the entrance speaking seriously. All wore expensive suits, but seemed more like business associates than wedding guests. One wore a small earpiece. Returning to her back row seat, her brother Thornton walked over, unusual for him. His expression wasn't his typical friendly smile, but something fabricated. "Celeste, thanks for coming today. I am very happy." Despite his words, Thornton's eyes showed clear tension. "By the way, what does your husband do? You've been married 2 years, but I still don't really know." "I told you, IT consultant." "Right. But specifically, It's not government work, is it? Thornton's question was oddly specific. Why mention government work? Why are you asking? Just curious. It's natural for me to want to know about my sister's husband, right? He always seems busy. He's late again today. Thornton checked his watch, clearly anxious. Thornton, what are you all afraid of regarding Quinlan? Celeste's direct question made Thornton's face tighten momentarily. Afraid? What are you talking about? Of course not. It was a hollow laugh, not his natural brotherly smile. Then commotion arose at the venue's rear. One of those men was operating some device. Sound equipment? Or, Thornton, is there some special performance today? No, nothing special. Thornton glanced back at the men, his complexion worsening further. I have preparations to make, excuse me. He hurried back toward the family section, his retreating figure seeming to flee. Alone in the back row, Celeste tried organizing recent events. Her family's abnormal behavior, their wariness toward Quinlan, the exclusionary treatment, everything seemed to point toward something. Checking her phone, she found a new message from Quinlan, arriving soon. Everything's ready. Today will be important for you. Everything's ready? Ready for what? Scanning the venue, she noticed those men strategically positioned, as if surveilling the space. Her mother Vivian frequently checked her watch, restlessly standing and sitting. Magnolia wore not a bride's happy expression, but visible tension. Celeste felt certain something was about to happen. The venue doors opened quietly. Had Quinlan arrived? Turning, she saw someone who wasn't quite the Quinlan she knew. Same suit, but completely different bearing. Straight posture, sharp gaze surveying the venue, like a predator hunting prey. Quinlan's entrance transformed the atmosphere instantly. Her mother's face went ashen, dropping her handkerchief. Thornton tried standing, stumbling over his feet. Magnolia rose as if wanting to flee toward the exit. Sorry for being late. Quinlan's voice was calm, but sounded different to Celeste, deeper, more authoritative, and certain. You are, surely not, really. Vivian whispered tremulously. Walking toward the venue center, Quinlan quietly withdrew something from his breast pocket, a black leather case with gold gleaming. Allow me to introduce myself. Quinlan stopped, opening the case and holding it high. FBI Financial Crimes Division, Special Agent Quinlan McLaughlin. Silence engulfed the venue. Celeste's heart nearly stopped. Her husband. An FBI agent? And today's venue staff are also my colleagues. At Quinlan's signal, waiters, photographers, sound technicians began displaying FBI badges. The person serving food, taking photos, operating audio equipment, staff who'd naturally provided service all day were actually FBI agents. From venue setup to sound, lighting, and catering, we arranged everything. It then made sense why the day's recording and filming were perfect. And why every exit was naturally monitored, preventing family escape. Thornton was speechless, frozen with the mic still in his hand. Magnolia collapsed into her chair, and Vivian covered her face with her hands. After 3 years of meticulous investigation, Quinlan continued calmly, we have gathered sufficient evidence of systematic bank fraud involving you, Thornton Evans, and your accomplices. The venue's large screen suddenly lit up, displaying images of documents. Loan records, forged applications, illicit transfers, fake company registrations. Total fraudulent loans, $12 million. 23 forged documents. 15 cases of money laundering. 47 victims. In Quinlan's hand was a thick file. He methodically presented each piece of evidence, one by one. Vivian Evans, Quinlan looked at the mother. This is the record of illegal transfers to your account. Over the past 3 years, a total of $3.8 million was deposited in stages. The screen displayed detailed bank statements from Vivian's account. Dates, amounts, sources, everything was recorded. Magnolia Evans, this time he turned to Magnolia. These are your high-value purchase records, matched with their funding sources. All these items were bought with funds obtained through fraudulent loans. The screen now showed purchases. $150,000 diamond necklace. $80,000 handbag. $250,000 overseas travel. Each entry detailed with purchase date, store, and payment method. Celeste trembled in her chair. Her family were organized criminals? Quinlan slowly turned to Celeste. His eyes were filled with deep affection and sincere regret. Celeste, his voice softened. You are completely innocent. More than that, your presence was a critical threat to their criminal scheme. A threat. Celeste forced out the words, overwhelmed. Because you are a financial planner. You understand loan mechanisms, interest calculations, and fund flows inside out. If you had scrutinized your family's finances, you'd have noticed the fraud immediately. Especially with your CFP certification and banking industry experience, the fake loans would have been obvious at a glance. Memories flashed through Celeste's mind. Her mother hastily hiding bank documents. Thornton's strange avoidance when discussing family finances. Magnolia vaguely claiming her luxury items were bought with the inheritance. Moreover, Quinlan continued. You've been offering free financial consultations to small business owners through volunteer work. Had any victim confided in you, saying, I got into trouble with a bank loan, the fraud could have been exposed. That's why they deliberately isolated you, so you'd never analyze their financial movements. Please listen to the testimony of the victims. An elderly man appeared on screen. His tearful voice echoed through the venue. I ran a small factory for 30 years. It was like family with 20 employees. Thornton from the bank told me there was a special government loan program. I applied to expand, but a $3 million loan was processed in my name without my knowledge, and the money vanished. My factory went bankrupt. I had to fire everyone I worked with for 30 years. I did nothing wrong. Why did this happen to me? More testimonies followed. A farmer. A shop owner. A young entrepreneur. All had been robbed of their dreams, their futures destroyed. Some faces were familiar to Celeste. They had come to her volunteer consultations before. Celeste stood up. Her legs trembled, but anger burned in her heart. Unbelievable. Her voice was small at first, but grew stronger. All eyes in the venue turned to her. You feared my expertise so much that you excluded me for years? Treated me like a family disgrace just to stop me from uncovering your loan fraud? Thornton desperately tried to explain. He put down the mic and reached toward Celeste. Celeste, no. We cared about you. Be quiet. Celeste's voice was firmer than anyone had ever heard. The entire room stared at her. For 42 years, the obedient woman finally showed her will. For decades, I thought I wasn't loved because something was wrong with me. That I was inferior. Worthless. Unable to meet family expectations. Tears welled in Celeste's eyes, but her voice remained unwavering. But I was wrong. You never loved me. You only used me. Then a voice rang from the back. It was Robert Harrison, Thornton's superior at the bank. Thornton, that's enough. He stood up and walked toward the center of the room. Everyone, I was Thornton's boss. And I was also the first whistleblower of his crimes. The venue stirred with shock. 3 years ago, I accidentally discovered Thornton's fraud, loan approvals to fictitious companies, non-existent collateral. I couldn't believe it initially. But the more I investigated, the clearer the organized crime became. Robert looked at Celeste. Thornton repeatedly said, "My sister must never find out, she's too good with numbers, she has that financial planner certification, she'd catch on immediately." Fear of you was central to their behavior patterns. Celeste trembled. She was feared. Her expertise was a threat. Moreover, Robert continued, they knew about your volunteer financial consulting. They constantly feared victims might consult you. Quinlan approached. Celeste, I did meet you during the investigation. I learned about you while investigating your family. Celeste looked up at her husband. Could she trust him? But the closer I got, the more your purity and strength captivated me. Your expertise, your ethics, and above all, your kindness. Quinlan took her hands. My mission was arresting your family. But my heart turned toward protecting you. I love you. That's truth, unrelated to work. Other attendees, true friends and relatives, sent Celeste warm gazes. They finally understood why she'd been mistreated by family. Then Vivian approached, crying. Celeste, please, I'm your mother. Help me. We're family. Celeste stared at her mother with calm, resolute expression. Mother. Celeste's voice was quiet but filled the venue. You belittled my existence. Were you ever proud of my work? Did you ever listen to my opinions? Vivian was speechless. Until today, I thought you didn't love me because something was wrong with me. But it was different. You knew my value. That's why you feared me. Thornton and Magnolia desperately pleaded. You're my sister. Blood family. Don't abandon me. Celeste, think of us. I knew nothing. Please help. Celeste shook her head. Family? Blood relations. Family isn't about blood connections. It's about people who love, respect, and support you. Celeste gripped Quinlan's hand. Don't claim family only when convenient. FBI agents produced handcuffs. Arrest time had come. Thornton Evans, Vivian Evans, Magnolia Evans, you're under arrest for bank fraud, money laundering, and organized crime. As warrants were read, Celeste walked to Quinlan. The crowd quietly showed respect. For the first time, she was truly understood and accepted. You're the most honest and beautiful person I've ever met. I love you deeply. I love you too. For the first time, Celeste felt truly loved and respected. And she understood her own worth by herself. As her mother, brother, and sister-in-law were handcuffed and led away, Celeste never looked back. Her new life was about to begin. FBI vehicles arrived at the venue, completely removing the three criminals. Only the guests, Celeste, and Quinlan remained in the venue. Heavy silence filled the air as attendees tried processing what had occurred. People they thought were relatives were criminals, and the woman excluded by family was actually an innocent victim. Then Celeste slowly stood. Everyone, I apologize for today's outcome. Her voice was calm. But I have no regrets. I'm deeply relieved the truth is revealed. An elderly attendee rose. Celeste, we should apologize to you. Seeing today's treatment, something felt wrong, but we couldn't speak up. Others nodded. Seeing you in the back row felt strange. Excluding you from family introductions was unnatural. But we never imagined such circumstances. Celeste smiled. That you noticed is enough. For decades, I believed something was wrong with me. But it wasn't. Quinlan stood beside her. Celeste, I want to formally apologize. I deceived you to get close. You deserve to know the truth. Celeste looked at her husband. I know you initially approached me for work. But the love between us is real, isn't it? Absolutely. That's certain. Quinlan gripped her hand. You're the most honest and strongest person I've ever met. I love you. Warm applause arose from the attendees. Celeste, an elderly woman called, You're truly strong. I couldn't have done it. No, Celeste shook her head. I'm not strong. I simply accepted the truth. She surveyed the venue. That family is heart connections, not blood. That love is respect, not control. And that I have value. Many attendees teared up at her words. Celeste breathed deeply. I learned 2 things today. Her voice strengthened. First, no matter the blood connection, relationships without mutual respect aren't true family. Second, even without blood ties, relationships where we cherish each other are genuine family. She gripped Quinlan's hand and looked at the guests. Today, I found real family, connected by heart, not blood. Warmth filled the venue. One attendee stood. Celeste, we celebrate your new life. Yes, you're free now. We sincerely wish for your happiness. Warm words flowed continuously. For the first time in her life, Celeste felt genuine love from many people. Through the venue's large windows, sunset streamed in, warm orange light enveloping Celeste and Quinlan. Shall we go? Quinlan said gently. Yes. Celeste smiled. Hand in hand, they walked toward the exit. Attendees naturally formed a path, sending them off with warm applause. Before stepping through the door, Celeste turned back. Everyone, thank you so much today. To have so many people blessing my new life's beginning. Her voice filled with gratitude. Please live treasuring truth and love. Celeste and Quinlan walked into the sunset. Her steps were light, expression radiant with hope. 42 years of darkness had ended, true light finally broke through. Celeste's new life had truly begun, watched over by her beloved and genuine supporters. 6 months later, Celeste sat by a small cafe window. Outside, gentle autumn sunlight illuminated street trees as golden leaves danced down quietly. She held a coffee cup, her laptop open to regional economic support project materials. Good morning, beautiful wife. Quinlan sat across from her with a second coffee cup. Good morning. Celeste smiled, clearly different from before. Confident expression, sparkling eyes, strong voice. How's today's lecture preparation? Quinlan asked. Perfect. Celeste nodded. Today I'm speaking to local women entrepreneurs about financial planning basics. They're all passionate, wonderful people. 6 months since that wedding, Celeste's life had completely transformed. She now worked as an independent financial planner, primarily consulting small business owners and aspiring entrepreneurs. Maria Gonzalez called yesterday, Celeste said happily. Her bakery's finally opening a second location. Wonderful news. Quinlan smiled too. Maria Gonzalez was among the first entrepreneurs Celeste supported, a single mother dreaming of opening a small bakery. Celeste helped develop her business plan for free. Thanks to you. No, it's all her own effort. I just organized numbers. Celeste's modesty was genuine, but Quinlan knew Maria's dream wouldn't have materialized without Celeste's support. A newspaper corner caught their attention. Page 3 carried a small article, Thornton Evans sentenced to 12 years. Celeste saw it but remained unmoved. They no longer disturbed her peace. Feel anything? Quinlan asked gently. Relief, perhaps, Celeste answered quietly. Relief that justice finally reached the victims. She closed the newspaper. And gratitude. Gratitude? Without that incident, I'd still be trapped in false family relationships. Never finding my true self, never knowing real love. Celeste took Quinlan's hand. Never meeting you. Quinlan squeezed back gently. Do you know how many people you've influenced? What do you mean? Yesterday at FBI headquarters, your case came up. It's raising awareness about family financial abuse. Celeste was surprised. Really? Yes. Your courage is giving hope to people in similar situations. Indeed, the wedding incident had become major local news, not from curiosity, but filled with respect and admiration for Celeste. The cafe entrance bell chimed as an elderly woman entered. Spotting Celeste, she waved cheerfully. Celeste. It was Ellen Miller, president of the Regional Chamber of Commerce. Good morning, Ellen. Celeste stood to greet her. Looking forward to today's lecture. And remember next month's Regional Economic Forum? Of course. I'd like you to give the keynote speech, What is True Economic Independence? Celeste was slightly surprised. Are you sure I'm right for this? I can't imagine anyone else, Ellen said with conviction. You're the one who achieved true independence. After Ellen left, Quinlan laughed. You still don't understand your influence. I'm just doing what I can. That's what's wonderful about you. Checking the time, nearly 10 a.m. I should go. Celeste stood. What time tonight? Around 6. After the lecture, I have 3 consulting appointments. I'll make dinner reservations at that little Italian place you love. Perfect. Quinlan kissed Celeste, brief but filled with love. Go well, wonderful wife. See you later, beloved husband. Leaving the cafe, autumn breeze caressed Celeste's cheek. Walking, she remembered 6 months ago, the wedding day when everything changed. That day, she lost family. But simultaneously found her true self. Found real love. And could begin her real life. At a traffic light, she noticed a small flower shop with beautiful white roses displayed. Entering, Celeste bought a single white rose. Special occasion, the shopkeeper asked. Yes, Celeste smiled. Every day is special. Flower in hand, Celeste continued toward the lecture venue. Her steps were light, expression full of hope. She never looked back, only forward, walking her path one certain step at a time. Autumn sunlight gently illuminated Celeste's new life. The white rose in her hand sparkled beautifully, like a symbol of rebirth and hope. Celeste's story wasn't an ending. This was a new beginning, a beautiful beginning filled with true love and true freedom.